Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Appreciate all your support. Shout out to the 19. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I want to talk a little bit about Makayla Timpson, but also instead of trying to stretch another video out of it, also mention that the Fever have made their first two cuts. You've probably heard this by now. I'm a little behind catching up post migraine, but Bree Hall and Jillian Aline have been waived by the Indiana Fever, so they are down to 13. Unfortunately, because of the previous regime and the way they handled the salary cap, they're at least going to have to start the season with only 11. So most likely we've got two more cuts coming. So I want to briefly go over the roster as well. I think it's probably pretty obvious who that's going to be, but I wanted to focus a little bit on Makayla Timpson first. This is her post-game interview, so I want to take a listen to this and talk about some of the things she said, and then talk about what the roster's most likely going to look like. So let's dig in.
You guys got to work on with a pretty big lead. What's one thing you think the team or you did well today?
I would say, just pushing the pace and just keep going, not settling for who we were playing with. We're just getting ready to play, those bigger opponents and to win a championship. So we just had our mind focused on what we wanted to do and just keep the pace and not worry about the score.
Yeah, Steph just talked about how what most impresses her about you is your poise, just how you manage to stay poised in situations where you might not know if you're going to throw.
I just look to the vets, they give me a lot of great wisdom and knowledge and, just to be myself, being under control and having that composure and knowing I'm a great player, just having that confidence in myself and believing in myself. That's how I'm able to stay poised out on the court.
Brad?
Makayla, you've had a lot of things thrown at you in this first week. Is there one or two things that have stuck with you, or a theme or some sort of thing that kind of keeps coming back at you that really resonates?
I would say, just keeping the spacing on the floor. If I don't know what I'm doing, just be in the right spacing so other people can, open up the things that we're looking for on offense.
Scott?
This is your first time experiencing the Caitlin madness. What do you make of this entire day that you were able to experience?
It's amazing, just to see that how many people just love her in this city. She made her mark here, and it's just incredible to see all the fans and how much she's just put into working, and then the impact she's had on this city is just amazing to see.
There you go. Okay, so full of observations about this. WNBA, flown, flown, Makayla Timpson. Okay, now you've all heard me talk a lot about the new WNBA and how it's going to take a number of years because the younger kids and players coming up emulating Caitlin Clark on the court, moving to what looks like, and even saw a lot in the first round of the draft in terms of who was selected, moving towards a more guard and dominated league, which is going to get quicker, faster, more athletic players for the most part, hopefully more skilled as well, and of course that takes time. One thing, and Makayla Timpson, although not a guard, is a great example of that. I've talked about that in another videos. Her movement, her athleticism, her vertical leap. She's got a lot of that of what you want. Now she's not a guard, but she's 6'2". I mean, the woman is an athlete. Okay, let me put it. And there are not. I don't know if I want to go down this road right now in detail, but I just don't think there are enough like athletes in the W right now. Right? There just aren't. Um, but she's one. But here's the other thing I talked about a lot is I don't know if it's because they weren't, a combination of they weren't getting the attention, they had the entitlement of the NBA money, so they didn't have to market or any of that. And I've always said how the players are just too unlikable. And in addition, they're terrible with the media. They need media training. You see, I've showed clips through last season about how they handle post game press conference and all this. And here is this rook coming in, and I should have double checked her age. I think she's 22. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And this is everything you want from the WNBA. She's good on the court, right? We've got that. She's already captured the heart of a huge part of the Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark fan base. And then in addition to that, she's well spoken. She's likable with her answers. She's got intelligence in the things she said. You saw her face light up when at the last question when she's asked about the Caitlin Clark thing. Like she's a player who has not come into that with any type of agenda or jealousy. She's like, yeah, I want to play in front of all these players. And my guess is she's probably already felt the love from the Fever fan base. So when you get that, and I said this about Dewana Bonner too, and they get on the team and they see that and feel that, there's a disconnect, right? And they either have to be so into believing what's in their bubble or they have to change their opinion because it's like, well, wait, what I'm feeling and getting from these fans is nothing like what they told me these fans were like. And I think Makayla Timpson has a little of that. So I wanted to play this because well, that's why I say clone her. Yeah, on the court too, but also with what you get here. She just, I like her. I mean, I don't know. Oh, and one thing I found really disappointing and, a little bit with me as well, or like, I'm not a full-time paid scouting team, but I kind of not a player that I really recognize as what she could do in college. Um, And I think that's been a big part of problem with the W too, is they're not looking for these types of players. They haven't been for some reason. I think that's probably part of the reason she dropped to 19. So kudos to the Indiana front office and Stephanie White for selecting her as well. And we had, of course, now I believe, they went to the school, but you have a good chance of making the team when, Natasha Howard is giving a shout out. That's my rook, Makayla Timpson today, which was the Brazil game, 9 points, 2 steals, a block, 2 for 4 from the field, which was awesome. So yeah, and look at that. 88,000 views, 3,000 likes, which is coming from the Fever fan base, of course, of course. Um, and so we take a look at this. We've got let's just go over the roster real quick. We've got down to 13, right? Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull. We got the Blonde Bombers. Um, Brianna Turner, Dantas, Yvonne Ejim, pretty sure I said Jalen Brown, Makayla Timpson, Caitlin Clark, Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson. I know they're going by numbers, but they've got Lexi and Sophie next together, the Blonde Bombers. Caitlin Clark should be up there with Kelsey Mitchell, so we get the Splash Sisters together as well. Uh, but my guess is, I mean, this is like 99%. Ijim and Brown are going to get waived. That's just unfortunately the way it's going to be because the previous regime was incompetent and they simply can't take 12 at this point. Now, for me, and I get that it's a little bit risky, but when I look at the makeup of the Fever, me personally, I'm okay with it. Now, I know Brianna Turner can play center. Obviously, she's a forward center, even though she's only 6'3". I think Makayla Timpson, who's 6'2", probably plays taller than Brianna Turner does anyway. And so just from the little bit I've seen, because she's only a rook, I would love to see them take Ejim on the team instead of Turner. I don't think that's going to happen, but and again, I mean, maybe because I question Turner only getting 7 minutes against Brazil, the only one in single digit minutes. By the way, shout out to all of the 19 in the comments. I had heard kind of a rumor, but hadn't confirmed it, and I didn't want to put something like that out there if I was wrong. But I believe Demiris Dantas didn't play because she had unfortunately had someone in her family pass away. So prayers out to Dantas and her family. So players available to play. Turner was the only one in single digit minutes, but that could be because she's like, oh, she's safe. I know what I'm going to get from her. Let's get these other players some minutes. Although again, to all of us, it seems like Timpson was kind of the one that was going to make it. One other thing before I let you go, I want to give you because I just think it's kind of funny. This WNBA one decided to be funny. They say Bree Hall followed everyone on the Fever except for Caitlin. No wonder she got waived at lunchtime. And now, looking at some of these comments, I won't waste your time with it, but It does. It does. Yeah, she didn't follow Caitlin. So some people saying, well, she didn't follow every player, but she followed at least the starters and some others, but she didn't follow Caitlin, which is just with everything that's going on. I had a good laugh. Yeah, I probably might have a laugh at that as well. Maybe that is part of the reason she went. Caitlin was like, "Yo, Steph, man, we can't have this. I did enough of this stuff last year, and it's just I'm a little tired from it." And when Caitlin Clark puts her foot down, Caitlin Clark gets what she wants. That's why the All-Star game is in Indianapolis this year. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you go. I think Makayla Timpson. Oh, the other thing I want to say, call it a little bit of a hot take. I think we'll see as the season goes along. I don't know who it's going to be taken away from, but you're going to see. I think we're going to see Makayla Timpson playing more and more minutes as the season goes along. Um, and that's only good for the Fever, right? If she's playing the level she's earning those minutes, that's good for the Fever. But I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate your support all as always. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel on our road to 12,000 by game one. I know we can do it. Appreciate all your support. Go have the day you deserve, and I will talk to you later.